should do it. Come on now.
Trouble making the connection, Rick?
Making the connection? What? What is this?
Wait, stop. I'm only here because you called.
I did?
Well, you said you wanted an easier way.
Well, yes, but that was to connect the cables. Karen, what are you up to? Oh, what are you? Some kind of hologram?
Well, I don't think so. Oh, and don't blame Karen. You're the one who asked for help. I heard you say that video is a pain in the...
Well, it can be. You see, we have this whole library of videos. Every few months we get a new one. My boss expects us to use them. She's sold on how great they are. To tell you the truth, I don't see what the big deal is.
I understand. Here, let me show you something. Video is one of the most powerful and affordable training tools available. Why? Well, number one, people learn through their senses, and video reaches two of them, sight and sound. Research shows that people retain about 10% of what they hear. Add visuals, and they retain 50%. That's video. Number two, it models behavior, so employees can see what to do. You get expert knowledge in a meaningful demonstration. And it can take viewers to places they can't otherwise go. Other properties, other countries, inside other people's minds. Number three, it commands and holds attention. People watch it, lots of it. Like it or not, the average American watches about 30 hours of TV a week. Your typical manager doesn't get those kinds of ratings. And four, video is versatile. You can use it to train a group or one person at a time, demonstrate skills or model behavior, train new employees or refresh experienced staff. And programs exist for every skill level in every area of lodging operations. Finally, it's consistent. You can repeat the same message to each person who views it. Now that also means that you save money by using one tape to train many people. Rick, I think video can be the most effective tool your training dollar can buy.
I don't know. People seem to get hung up on all the differences between these programs and our own property. Like, we don't have a bellman here, or we use electronic keys here, or we do one step in the process a little differently.
Well, I can show you how differences can be an advantage. But first, tell me, how do you use video?
Well, with one person, I give them the tape, and they watch it. If they have questions, we talk about it.
And what about group training?
I get them started, I leave, then when the video's over, I come back to answer questions.
Well, that's more than some managers do. But I think what's missing in this whole process is you, to make the connection.
Doing more than answering questions?
And more than just putting employees in a room to watch. You need to make the connection between the video and the employee's job. You see, video is a passive medium. That means that the message goes in one direction, from the video to the employee. Well, to train effectively, you've got to involve employees with what they see and make learning active.
That makes sense. But how?
Let me show you. Now, preparation is where it starts. The steps are the same whether you're training one person or a dozen. Determine the needs, plan your presentation, schedule the session, and prepare your materials. Now, step one involves determining your audience. Who are you training? Your objectives. What do you want your audience to know or do? And your time. How much do you have? Let's take your situation. Who is your audience?
Well, I'm working with 4 line employees, 2 front office, 1 housekeeping, and 1 maintenance. One person started 2 months ago. The others have been here a year or 2.
And your objectives?
We're starting property-wide security awareness training. Most people know some basics, but not a lot. In this session, I'll cover key control. And time, I've got about half an hour.
Okay, next step. Plan your presentation to serve your training needs. Now, this involves previewing the program and choosing a presentation method.
Method? Don't I just put the tape in and hit play?
Technically, yes. But you still have a choice. Show the tape through, or use stopping points.
In 30 minutes?
With preparation, you can do it. And remember your goal for training with video?
To make the connection between the video and the job.
Right. Now, how you present the video can help you do that. Showing the tape through, for example, paints the big picture for viewers. Stopping points, on the other hand, let you show the program in sections with discussion in between. This breaks the material into more memorable segments and increases active learning.
I'd have to be pretty familiar with the video to stop at the right point.
But watching it more than once will help.
Like the security video I'm showing today. Now, it starts with a scene about a front desk agent giving a room key to a visitor. The visitor turns out to be a thief. I could stop after that scene and generate lots of discussion.
Excellent. And with the dramatic scenes, you can also stop before the problem is resolved and have employees try to predict the outcome.
Or with the wrong way, right way scenes, I could stop after the wrong way. Employees would discuss what's wrong and how they'd correct it. Then watch the rest and see if they're right.
And what does all of this do?
Well, it makes learning active. It gives employees a reason to anticipate what will happen and helps them connect it to their jobs. I hate to say it, but this could be fun.
Absolutely. And if you're enjoying the process, you can bet your employees will get more out of it. Now, plan to use the video companion materials in your presentation. They often contain a content review, quizzes, and discussion questions. And don't hesitate to adapt those questions and materials to your property's needs. Now, once you determine your needs and plan your presentation, you have a strategy for your training session. In step 3, schedule the training session and announce it in advance. Then, prepare your materials.
Simple enough. Copy handouts and employee manuals.
Aren't you forgetting something?
Oh, yeah. Make sure the room is set up properly and that all equipment is connected and working.
And that's how you prepare. Determine your training needs, plan your presentation to meet those needs, schedule the session, and prepare your materials. It takes some thought, but good preparation sets the stage for everything that follows.
You know, I've been training without much preparation, so I'm eager to see how this works.
I bet you know more than you realize. Now, conducting the training involves presenting the program, discussing it, and following up. Rick, I'd like to see you use what you know. Let's look at the future, where you're leading a training session.
Okay, sure. But how do we get there?
Well, just hit fast forward on the remote. You'll start with an overview of the session. Outline the training objectives and how they relate to what employees do on the job.
You may not realize it, but everyone on staff plays an important part in security. There are many ways you can make our property safe for guests and for yourselves. Today, we're going to talk about key control. I have a videotape which shows us why practicing good key control is so important.
I heard that this program takes place in a large hotel. We don't even have a regular security staff here.
I told you people get all hung up on differences, and he's got a good point. The content is excellent in this video, but it is set in a larger property than ours.
That's okay. Every video you show will vary somehow from the way your property operates, but you can make use of those differences to make learning active.
I don't know. People get stuck on the littlest thing.
Well, to prevent that from happening, alert viewers about differences before showing the video.
This program does take place in a larger property than ours, so you may notice some differences, like the larger lobby, more employees.
And a restaurant?
That's right. But what I want you to really look at is the way the employees handle the situation. Is this how we do things here? If it's different, do you think it's a better way or not? I handled that pretty well.
You let viewers know about the potential differences, and you work them into questions for employees to consider while watching. This lets you control the message and takes advantage of differences to actually increase learning. Now, distribute the companion materials. Conduct self-evaluation quizzes or pre-tests, and review discussion questions. If you have time, involve employees by asking them for answers.
Before we watch the video, let's talk a minute about how we handle keys here. what are two basic points in our policy about giving out keys?
Well, we should always ask if the person is a guest.
That's right.
And request identification, even if that person is a registered guest.
Good. Now, after we watch the first segment of the video, I'll stop the tape so we can compare our procedures with what we see happen. Okay? Let's take a look.
Now, with one person, you'd do the same thing.
But we wouldn't brainstorm beforehand.
Why not? Providing a thorough overview is just as important in one-on-one training. That single viewer still needs to know how this program is important to their job. And you'll be more likely to make the connection if you brainstorm.
And when the program is over?
Discussion. This is when the training points are emphasized and related directly to the job. One of the most powerful things you do in guiding a discussion is to ask the right kinds of questions.
What concerns you about the front desk agent's actions?
Good. A general question to get people warmed up.
She made it so easy for that guy.
She sure did. What did she do that made it easy?
And a specific question, one that requires a particular answer.
Stan, what's one thing she did or didn't do?
A guided question will help people along.
Well, she didn't ask the guy for any kind of ID.
Exactly. Now, how does that compare with our policy here and the points we talked about before the video?
Not bad, Rick. A general question to get the group going, then a specific question to focus them on the behavior they saw. And I liked the way you used a guided question to get Stan to speak up. Now, if you have a larger group, you can divide it into smaller ones to get more people involved. Give each group different questions, then have them report their answers back to everyone.
And during discussion, I'll review our property's specific procedures.
Good. Often companion materials have space for employees to write notes. And if you're conducting one-on-one training, also schedule discussion. And not only to answer questions, but to ask the same questions that you'd ask the group.
And after discussion, answer any final questions and end the session.
Well, what about follow-up?
Almost forgot. Conduct post-test and training evaluations.
Also, let employees know what will happen next, such as on-the-job training. Encourage employees to refer to their companion materials and review the video if they want. Be available to answer questions. Finally, observe them on the job. Reinforce improved job performance with praise and work with employees if their performance isn't meeting expectations.
This all seems so obvious. It's not that difficult.
You're right, it isn't difficult, but it's not that obvious. It's based on the standard 4 steps of training: prepare, present, practice, and follow up. Prepare thoroughly. Determine your training needs. Who are you training and what do you want them to learn? Plan your presentation to meet those needs. Then schedule the session and prepare your materials. Conduct the training to make learning active. Present the program using the method you choose. Guide discussion to minimize differences and reinforce the content that counts. And finally, follow up on the training.
I really appreciate your help.
No problem. Oh, do me a favor, though.
What?
Set the clock on your VCR.
This is 4 months. Hey, Mr. Lombardi, you need some help making the connection?
No, I think I've got it.